Hello, everyone. Welcome to Time to Listen. This is Deborah and KJ, and we're starting this podcast to just try to dive into the hearts and minds of everyday people to get their opinion on some hard-to-answer questions. Today, we're going to ask the question. One of our questions we're asking today is, what is gay rights? I've asked several people what gay rights is, and I've been given all kind of definitions of what it is, and they're comparing it to civil rights. But if I ask someone what civil rights is, I usually get a similar explanation of what civil rights is. So, but when I'm saying what is gay rights, because most of the time when we're dealing with racism and all the other differences that we have as a people, most of the times it's out of ignorance or lack of knowledge is the reason why we can't come into an understanding and really understand each other's differences. So, what do you think about gay rights?
To be honest, like, I don't get it. I don't understand I don't understand it in its fullness. I can just say that. I don't understand it in its fullness.
Right, because
there's so many different answers that you get when you do ask, okay, so what do you mean by gay rights? And like you said, it is compared to civil rights. But when me being a straight person just trying to get an understanding of, okay, what is it? Like, it's not that I hate you. It's not anything like that. It's like, I don't understand it. Help me understand you better, you know?
Right. And it keeps going on and on and on when you ask the question. I asked 5 different people, and I got 5 different answers. One was my right to marry who I want to marry, and my right to adopt children. One was my right to be treated like any other person, to get a job wherever I want to get a job. And another one was, well, I don't know. I don't know what gay rights are. I just like going to the gay pride parades and turn up. So, that in itself was, well, if you're going to fight for something and stand for something, it has to be defined of what you're fighting for. And, yeah.
So I can understand the social aspect of it. You want to love who you want to love. You want to be who you want to be. You want to live your best life. Like you said, you asked so many different people. You asked different people and they gave you different answers. And kind of the conversation that we was talking about a little earlier is, it just depends on who you ask. Some people are very passionate about this. Just like we have black power, black pride. You know what I mean? Like, black and we proud. They gay and they proud. But it's like we have a defined definition. And I'm not saying that it isn't a defined definition anywhere. But when you ask the people in the community, it varies.
Yes.
So, like I said, it depends on who you ask. Because if you ask the turn-up person, I know someone who's like that. This is just what I do. I like men. I'm sleep with men. All that other stuff. Like, basically all the political things that's attached to it has nothing to do with me.
Right. And I can get it. I mean, a lot of people, just because you're black doesn't mean that you're into Black Lives Matter and all the other movements that have happened over the decades. And I get that. Yeah. But and like you said, some people are political and some are not. So let's talk about those that are political and how do they send the message that we're dealing with our rights, our gay rights, our human rights, or what have you. Because oftentimes their message is blurry. And so you don't understand. And then they turn it into racism or racist or hatred,
hate crime.
I hate, whatever. And they do that, and then it just makes it more blurry. Because I need to know what you're fighting for. I don't have a problem with anybody's rights. I think everybody has a right to do certain things. But if you're telling me, but how do you, one of the things I have a problem with, how do you take my right to be who I am for your rights? Right. If you're saying, I need, and this is one of the, not arguments, but conversations I've had with a lot of people concerning this, is you're telling me that I don't have a right to disagree with you.
Right.
But that's not real. That's not realistic. Because you're saying I have a right to do this. Before they had before it became so popular, my question was to a relative, is wasn't you already having sex with the people that you wanted to have sex with? So was that, and that was one of the arguments he had. I want my right to have sex with men. So, well, didn't you already have that right? I mean, was someone saying you couldn't do it because you were already doing it? So I'm saying, just be clear on and define what that gay rights look like. What is it?
Yeah.
So we all can have an understanding. And it's not that I'm going to join the movement, but at least I have an understanding of what the movement is.
Right.
And to say if I don't understand, I'm homophobic.
Yeah, don't attack me for asking the questions and automatically just assume that I'm homophobic. Which, by the way, like, homophobic is not even, when you think of phobic, you think of fear. So I took it upon myself to look up the word homophobic, and it had nothing to do with being the fear of it. It was basically I'm gonna pull it up, basically saying that you're like discriminating against gay people.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the case. Like, if you're going to use homophobic, that's the fear of it. It needs to be titled something else, because when I'm be honest, I used to be scared of dykes or studs. I don't think they call them dykes no more, but studs. For the mere fact of my experiences with them. Like at school, in high school, when you in the locker room and you changing your clothes and they all up on you, or they trying to follow you home from school and yelling out the window, very aggressive. Like, so at one point, I was scared. I remember being scared. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be scared because of the experience. I remember one time, it was a friend of the family, came over, was a stud, and everybody had left. I was in the shower. She came. I was coming out of the shower. She followed me in my room. Get what? Bye. I was scared. Like, just because of my experiences. Now, I mean, I'm not, I'm good. But at that time when I was younger, I was. So you can tie that homophobia. I was scared.
Yeah, and that's what it sounds like when you say phobia. So I looked up phobias, and they had hundreds of them, and all of them were tied to fear of. So anytime I hear phobia, I'm thinking some type of fear. And usually most phobias are fear of death in some kind of way. Fear of flying, fear of spiders, fear of snakes, claustrophobia, all that. So when that is defined, it's almost kind of like the gay rights thing. The definition is not clear. If you tell me I'm homophobic, then my first thought, you're saying to me that I fear you in some kind of way.
And I don't.
And I don't fear in any kind of way, but the definition in itself is not a fear.
Right, I got the definition right here. It says, homophobia, dislike of or prejudice against homosexual people. So, that's
so it's a dislike of, and so it should be changed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that
doesn't really
if you're saying to people you don't like me because I am gay, then it shouldn't be a phobia. It shouldn't be considered a phobia because that's a fear.
Yeah.
And I don't fear anybody. You know, I'm not. It's not that I'm going to attack a person. Now I see the hate crimes. And that's ridiculous. That is so crazy. And some of it, one guy I talked to, he was saying, well, he was kind of saying, well, I understand why some of the hate crimes are happening because some of the gay people are so aggressive when they're kind of coming on to people. You don't have no reason.
Yeah,
hurt a person.
You don't have no reason. Walk away.
Yeah, just walk away. You know, whatever. You don't have a reason to beat a person, hurt a person,
kill a person
because they're different. That just doesn't. You know, it doesn't make any sense at all. So, but what we're doing. So today we're just trying to get an understanding. So 2 questions we're asking today: what is gay rights, and what is homophobia? What is that? What is the true meaning? Because we believe that it should be named something else if you're talking about just a dislike or what have you. And I'm not taking that lightly. We're not asking questions for arguments or controversy or whatever, just an understanding. And so we thank you all for listening. Join us, subscribe to us, and like us on Facebook. Thank you.